And hello. Welcome to the Absolute Football Podcast, the Absolutely Premier League show. I know it's not a women's football watch along for the first time in about 14 days. They've been doing an incredible job on the channel. But we are here to talk Premier League today. We're here to talk a little bit of Club World Cup in terms of what's been going on, try and catch you up for the summer. And it's just a lovely chance to get everyone together and talk about a bit of football. Because we've all been roasting. We've had the tennis, we've had the cricket, we've had everything else, but the football is coming back. But of course, I couldn't do it on my own. I've got a wonderful panel with me this evening. Look at this, what a quartet! And of course, it's the wonderful Shah's come to join us on a Tuesday in the Premier League. Shah, how's life with you?
Do you know what? I'm excited to talk some Premier League football. It's a nice change. I've not been on here for a while. The only thing I'm gutted about is I'm having to wear a cardigan. Like, what is going on? I've been really warm this weekend and I'm a bit chilly tonight. But how are you, Sam?
I'm not. It's gone one extreme to the other, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I said, I did a podcast recording with Ben actually on Monday night, and I was sweating. I was absolutely sweltering. But today, I'm quite enjoying it. So I haven't got a cardigan, but it's definitely cooling down, which I think is needed a little bit. And talking of cool, the king of cool sat down there, very happy, Mr. Grimmy, our legend of cool. How are you doing? How is your week going?
I don't know where Charlotte is, but I am absolutely boiling here. Like, I am dying to death of 1,000-degree burns or something because, my God, it's hot up here. But apart from that, yeah, I survived the weekend of, like, Sahara Desert weather. And, yeah, happy to be here.
Glad to hear it. Of course, we're very, very lucky today. We've got a super special guest. He's been on the channel before, not for a little while, so it's lovely to have him back. We've got the wonderful Harry Scarfe is with us tonight. Harry, how are you doing? How's your summer going?
Oh, I'm very good, thank you. I've finished my exams, so I'm really happy at the moment, enjoying my summer. But it's great to be back on here. As you said, it's been a while, so really looking forward to getting into it with some fantastic people tonight.
Excellent. We are very much looking forward to it as well. And to say, if you're not aware, Harry is a Tottenham fan, so it's kind of there's lots of transfer talk that will be coming along with that. Grimmy and I gave the Europa League a bit of time, and we thought it's fine. We can talk to Tottenham again. We're all friends again. Last season is done, isn't it, Grimmy? It's all done.
Yeah, I have a close friend who's a Spurs fan, so I don't think I'm ever going to live it down. Unfortunately.
It is what it is. But it's not just us. It's the wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people in the chat. We have the Super Graham is with us. Good evening to Graham. We've got Simon here as well. Good evening, wonderful people. We've got our own lovely Jen is here. Hi, gang and Harry, she says. We love Jen. Thank you for joining us tonight. So where should we start? Should we start with, let's get this Club World Cup stuff out of the way, because it's been kind of a bit of a weird one this summer. It's been happening, and I don't know about you, I've kind of forgotten about it after time, and then suddenly stuff's been happening. But Chelsea have won the Club World Cup and have won about $70 billion or however much as they've got out the back of it as well. So what did you make of Chelsea winning? Did you watch any of the game, first of all? And if you did, what did you make of it?
It was one of them. Everyone always says usually a woman can multitask. I'll be honest, I can't multitask unless it's watching more than one football game. So I had my phone with the Club World Cup on, and then I was watching, obviously, the England women's game as well because it clashed. But do you know what? It was really funny because everyone had wrote Chelsea off before they even kicked a ball. And I kept saying, do you know what? I would not write it off whatsoever, especially with Maresca. I know a lot of people have been a little bit uncertain about Maresca, didn't really know what to think about him when he first came in. Obviously, he won the Conference League, didn't they? And I thought, do you know what? I think they'll give it a good go. Part of me thought they might need to play a little bit defensively to stop PSG, but they didn't really have to do that. Cole Palmer and João Pedro, can I just say that link-up was dangerous. And that link-up, if that happens to go in the Premier League, and obviously if they can obviously work on that and play like they did against PSG, I think that'll be really, really dangerous. But yeah, Chelsea played really, really well. And I know a lot of people obviously criticise Robert Sanchez, but I'm going to claim him right now. Rochdale have had a Club World Cup winner. We had Robert Sanchez on loan when we were in League One, so I'm claiming that. We want that trophy in the cabinet, Robert, if you're watching. I don't think you will be. But do you know what? I'm actually really happy for Chelsea and Maresca. I know a lot of people are a bit uncertain about this tournament and thought, is it worthwhile? What we're going to think of it and stuff. Some people now are claiming it as if it's not a big trophy, but I think it's really, really good. And because we did that, the uncertainty on Maresca, I think, was really, really good.
Yeah, it was an amazing performance in the final. Maresca did well tactically, I think, in terms of surprising PSG, one or two of the things that he did. And they've kind of been weird, haven't they, this season, Grimmy? I think we were talking about Chelsea throughout the season, kind of not been a lot. It's been difficult to know what to make of them, but slowly that young sort of squad, they had that really good start to the season, of course, dipped away a little bit towards the end, but they put a really kind of good run together. Do you think this is a big catalyst for them now? I mean, obviously the Chelsea fans are going to lord it over everybody to be World Cup winners or whatever that actually means, but do you think this is a big thing for them going into the Premier League next year?
I think so. If you consider the fact that they beat PSG the way they beat them, like Shah said, the link up between Palmer and Pedro straight off the bat has been phenomenal in this run. So, yeah, if they've got a better, I always felt with Chelsea, if they had that good number 9 up top, they would be a lot closer to the top teams. And I think with Pedro, they've got someone who can lead that line very well. So yeah, there's no reason why it can't be a kickstart to them maybe being closer to a title challenge next season.
It's a possibility. So they're definitely in the right direction. And Jen says, can we just have some of that money for Morecambe? Yes, please. Only 10 million, of course. The Morecambe situation, if you are a Premier League viewer, do check that out because it's a very serious situation in lower leagues going on for Morecambe and for Jen at the minute. So we just wanted to bring your attention to that one. And of course, the wonderful Dreety is here as well from our lovely league team. Hello to Dreety. Hope you're well too. So yeah, a very good one. And Harry, I'll come to you next on this. But Cole Palmer, of course, scorer in the final off the back of scoring in the Euro final the year before. He's starting to make a name for himself on the global and international stage at that big sort of presence as well as in the league. What are you making of Cole Palmer? Do you think this is a player who, we could be talking about future Ballon d'Ors, that kind of thing? Are we that level with Cole Palmer that we're getting there?
I think there's a possibility. If I'm totally honest with you, I take my Spurs hat off. I genuinely think there is. And I think last season was his best season. He will know that more than anyone else. He'll be able to tell you that. I'll be honest with you. He's a very honest guy, easy to talk to. One thing is, I will say, is he's not media trained, is he? That's one thing. I love listening to Cole Palmer.
He's not a podcaster, is he? I can't see Cole Palmer doing the podcast around.
No, I can't either. It's funny, his facial expression, but no, on the pitch he does the talking, and that's what's most important. That's what Chelsea and England will value him for. He does do that. As I said, last season wasn't up to the races, but again starting to get his mojo back. At a key time as well when Chelsea needed him towards the end of the season, along with others, stepped up to the table. So no, he's a top player. There's no doubt about it. We know what he's capable of. I think a lot of it, Sam, is, and I could completely be wrong with this, but when you have someone as good as Palmer, and if we go back, not last season, but the season before, absolutely, basically stormed it. Then clubs, know to look out for Palmer. So it's, make sure your man marking Palmer, make sure you got 2 on him, just little things like that. And it takes a lot, player to develop. I use an example like with Spurs. For example, Harry Kane's now gone, so everyone marks Son, and he hasn't been as good. I think a large amount of it is he's now Tottenham's main man, and he just hasn't got the space or luxury he has, because usually it was mark Harry Kane out the game. So a lot of it is worked against him in that way. But Palmer's a great player. I think the sky's the limit for him, and he's got a bright future ahead of him, whether that be at Chelsea or not. More than likely Chelsea with their huge contracts. So absolutely, I wouldn't write off the Ballon d'Or.
No, he's a player, as you said. He's going to get that special attention from defences, from the setup, because they know that you have to stop Palmer as a key. And I think to Grimmy's point as well, that's where a number 9 for Chelsea really helps, because you suddenly close Palmer down, but João Pedro gets into little spaces, and then he'll free Palmer up in kind of reverse for doing those things. So I think it's a really good addition, and Chelsea have been slowly sort of adding some bits and pieces to that team. It'll be interesting to see how they do next season. Simon's here with positivity. Some positivity from some. The Club World Cup sucked.
You can always count on him, can't you, Sam?
We can always count on you, Simon. We know. Yeah, get off the fence, Simon. Tell us what you really feel. The Club World Cup
splinters in his ass.
Splinters for the clubs complain about playing too many games. He says instead of scrapping FA Cup replays, they should scrap crappy pre-season tournaments. But it's FIFA, and FIFA love a bit of money, so I think we all know why the Club World Cup was. And it's interesting how it's been received, because I think from different parts of the world, they're going to have different views. But Shah, what have you thought of it overall as a tournament? Do you think, because the attendances have been a bit hit and miss? Obviously, it's an interesting insight as well into the fact that it's super hot in America and there's a World Cup there next year, and that's been a problem as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's a weird one because, to be honest, I can see it from Simon's point of view, being a lower league fan, but obviously taking my lower league hat off and stuff. And I'll be honest, I did actually watch quite a lot of the games. A lot of it was because you all know I'm a massive Sergio Ramos fan. So I did get up. I got up.
Monterrey shirt coming.
Yeah, there is. I was up early hours of the morning watching Monterrey and Borussia Dortmund. I'm not going to lie. But to be fair, from a footballing point of view, especially being a football fan, and I was missing football, it's nice to be able to watch football. I just think it will take a toll on a lot of the players because they're not getting the breaks. And then next year, you've obviously got, is it the World Cup next year? And I feel like it's constant, and these footballers aren't getting a break, and it is going to take its toll on the bodies. And I feel like that's one of the reasons as well we are getting a lot of injuries now, because they're not having that break. They're having these tournaments, or if not, they're flying, having international pre-seasons and things like that. So I think that's something that does need to be taken into account. But the tournament, to be fair, football's football, and you always love like watching the footballers play and things like that from across the world. So it did interest me as a fan. I will put it that way, but I can see everyone's frustrations and stuff also.
This is it. You can understand it. It's a different kind of tournament, and we know that it's probably where it's come from. It's not really palatable, but as you said, some great games within there, and I think it's seen differently from around the world. South American clubs, I saw, absolutely loved the opportunity to kind of go against Europe's best and to show really what they can do. And there were some really good performances from Flamengo, Fluminense in the tournament, just to name a couple. We did very well. Paul says FIFA love money, surely not. Greedy bastards. He says in the chat. And a question, I love to ask you questions, Grimmy, because you're just a wonderful man with an answer. Glenn's asking, talking of João Pedro at Chelsea, will he be the top goal scorer out of these four? João Pedro at Chelsea, Cunha at United, Gyökeres at Arsenal, or Wirtz at Liverpool? I mean, Cunha at United, I'm happy about that signing, but I think that's unlikely. What's happened so far?
List, to be honest.
It's nice. It's nice to be named, isn't it? It's nice to be named.
Nice to be included, I'd probably. I'm Gyökeres. I'm not convinced on that one though. I'm gonna go with Gyökeres. I just feel like if he does even like 60-70% of what he did in Portugal, he's gonna be phenomenal. And yeah, Chelsea might have one of those dips, but I see Arsenal being quite strong. So yeah, on that basis, Gyökeres.
Can we all answer it?
We can all answer it. Yeah, do you want to go next, Shah? Who do you reckon?
I'm going to go João Pedro because I feel like we've seen what he can do at Brighton, and he's Premier League proven as well. And I just feel like we've mentioned Nicole Palmer and João Pedro link up. Yeah, I'm going to go João Pedro. Sorry, Grimmy.
João Pedro. And what about you, Harry? What do you reckon? This is it. We've got two more on the list. Are you going to go with Shah or Grimmy, or going to go with something else, Harry?
I'm going to back Shah with this one. I think João Pedro. I don't think it'll be that many. I think all of them are good players, but I don't think they're going to score beyond 20, let's say. I think João Pedro will probably win. I'm thinking 16, 17 goals, but I'm going to drop a little bit of a bombshell in here. I think Solanke scores more than all of these. I'm just going to put that out there.
Oh.
So that is, it's unpopular, and even Spurs fans are like, I'm not sure about Solanke, but I back him. I think I saw enough last season. It's just about turning good performances into goals. I think you've got a manager to get the best out of it. Look at Thomas Frank, got a lot out of Tony as a striker, then Wissa comes in to replace him, and all of a sudden he's a really good striker. And we forget that Wissa's actually a wide player because of how good he was in that 9 under Frank. So I'm confident Solanke is going to beat all of them, but don't hold me to account.
Let's write down the date and time of that one.
Solanke. This is it. Dominic Solanke. I'm going to go for Cunha because he's going to be playing up front with Harry Maguire, which is the perfect up front partnership that you need. So I think everyone's missing those little knockdowns. You know what I mean, Grimmy? It's going to be, They're planning something. They've got to be planning something. The chat will give them what their version is. Ryan says, João Pedro, 15 plus goals this season. Glenn thinks Gyökeres. I know the Coventry boys love Gyökeres as a Simon. Slightly biased, I reckon Gyökeres at Arsenal. Mr. Arsenal podcast, Victor will be top goal scorer overall come May. I was confused by that one because they're talking about USA 94, and I suddenly saw Diana Ross. I was like, that's an outside shout for a top goal scorer, but respect it. They were talking about USA 94. To be fair, Mr. Arsenal disagrees. Solanke might score more than 10 goals next season. Harry. Whoa, good look at it. It's all going.
That's low.
It's all going. It's all going. So yes, we'll go on to now the Premier League and transfers. There's lots and lots of stuff going on. Should we start, Grimmy, with? Do you want to go with Gyökeres first? Because I know he's been mentioned already. We're pretty much there with it. Surprised it's taken this long? Do you always think it was going to go? So there's been links to Sesko. Is Gyökeres the right choice for Arsenal?
Yeah, I think so. I think obviously the hold-up's probably been over the fact that Sporting have been playing a bit what's the word? Hard to get, I guess. They've tried to make it a bit more difficult than it just being like their sort of gentleman agreement that they had with Gyökeres. So I think even yesterday there was reports that they've agreed the fee, but then the add-ons they were basically wanting to make it 10 million of add-ons that were basically going to happen. So yeah, I think it's taken a little bit longer maybe than people suspected it would, but in terms of him being the right guy for Arsenal, I think he will be, because they need a strong, tall centre forward who can maybe hold the ball up, be deadly in the 6 yards, 12 yards area, and I think he's the perfect fit. And yeah, I think that's exactly what Arsenal need. And then, of course, they've got the players coming in that they're being linked with, like Eze and people like that. I think, yeah, that forward line for Arsenal next year could be pretty scary, I think, if Gyökeres starts well.
It's a good addition, as you say. He's been the name on everybody's lips, I think, across Europe in terms of top striker. You know, those figures at Sporting been saying for the last couple of seasons. Of course, he's known over here for his excellent time that he had at Coventry, with Mark Robins developing him really well. So I think credit to Robins in starting that kind of career off. I think Brighton, wasn't it? He was at kind of at a very young age, kind of in the Premier League, I think. For it to come all the way round. So Harry, obviously, sort of looking across the road at Arsenal and what they're doing with Gyökeres. Solanke's still above. I mean, what do you think of Gyökeres as a striker?
Listen, Gyökeres is definitely the bigger profile, and I think this is a big sign for Arsenal. I keep saying it, and it pains me to say it, but I was always like, if Arsenal bring in a top number 9, then that for me is the difference between second and first. They've done that. The only thing that could make it interesting this year is that I think Man City look really good, and they brought in some good additions. Ryan Nouri, for example, I think that's really big. I think City have lacked that really good left back for a considerable amount of time now, since Jan Cancelo left the club, who obviously naturally wasn't a left back in the first place. So that they've got that done. Liverpool signing players left, right, and centre look very strong as well. Kirkes again, funny, 2 left backs and 2 excellent left backs too. So I think all of a sudden they're both improving defensively, which was the fault of both last year. But Arsenal are getting deals done more than anyone else, and big players as well. Gyökeres is good. The only thing that's interesting to see is that, as good as a season he had last season, I'm not excusing it anyway or taking it away from him, but it's the rank of the teams that's interesting. Obviously, towards the bottom of that league, where would they finish if they're in the English pyramid? Would be interesting. Would they be Championship? Would they be lower down? So can he do that consistently against the top 6 clubs? Would be interesting. I have no doubt that he'll be scoring plenty of goals, your braces, your hat-tricks against your newly promoted teams, against your bottom half teams. Can he do it against your Newcastles, your Manchester Cities, your Liverpools, in the games that really matter for Arsenal? So often have actually let them down as well. So that'd be really interesting to see what happens with that. But I think Gyökeres is a big sign, and I'm going to sit here and say it is, of course, a lot bigger name than Solanke, a lot more expectation. So big signing from Arsenal. I have an unfortunate feeling that they won't stop from here as well. So they will be a force. They'll be in the title race. There's no doubt about it. But I'm hoping, just because it's Arsenal, that they're full foul at the final header again.
As you say, it's a fair point, I think, in terms of who he scored against. Always worth sort of looking at, because I mean, and sometimes that can be enough to drive you. I mean, Lukaku did it. Lukaku was pretty much a flat track bully, wasn't he? For years, used to kind of score against majorities. He's not as well, kind of against the top six, but his numbers were still kind of all there. Let's go to what the chat are thinking on it. Simon says, I know he was playing in Portugal. You could see what he was in his last season at Coventry, that he could make the step up to the Prem. Tia says it's yet to be seen, as the quality from Portugal doesn't always translate well to the Premier League, but the numbers speak for themselves, and he's about to enter his prime years, so should be hitting the ground running. I mean, there's plenty of opportunities. Sean, why are you digging? It's got nothing to do with Man United. Stop digging me out this early on.
Stop being mean.
He's got the Harry Maguire man marking job. He's not going to get a moment.
You go off some people, don't you?
It's an interesting one for sure, Gokares, and they seem to have got the strikers. So do you think? Because I don't know about you, Sean, when it comes to predictions this season, that top I haven't got a clue at the minute. I sort of keep flipping around, going, "Oh, Liverpool looks strong. They've done this, that, and the other." And then you go, "Well, Arsenal got a striker. They'll be in it." And then you look at the fact, "Oh, Man City have spent £400 million, and they've got this, that, and the other." Chelsea have just won the Club Cup, and suddenly we're sort of talk about them. Where are you at the minute with Arsenal? Is this Gokares the one that gets them? Will we have Lucas finally getting his bus tour next May?
It's a tough one. I think we've pretty much got our top four there anyway. I think we're all pretty much in agreement. They're going to be the ones most solid from what we've seen so far anyway. I really don't know with Arsenal, because I think we do have the additions. I think Eze, obviously, if they do get Eze, I think that is a quality signing. We've got Madueke as well now, haven't they? I know a lot of people were criticising that, but I think as a squad player and potentially to bring him on, I think he will do well for him. I know a lot of people weren't impressed with that business, but like I said, I think for a young up-and-coming player, we've seen him have glimpses at Chelsea, but in an Arsenal squad with Arteta coaching him, I think he will do very, very well, Madueke. But Gyökeres, I think he'll have a good season. I know a lot of people are basing it upon his time in Portugal. I'm not doing it off that. I saw a lot of him in the Championship, and I don't always agree with him, but I do agree with Simon on this one. I think we've seen Championship players before step up to the mark, and I think obviously he's got the experience in Europe as well, Gyökeres, and he's got the physicality from the Championship as well that people are taking away from him at that little bit. So I think he'll do well for Arsenal, but I could not tell you now where they will finish, because honestly, each and every day when I'm seeing like them play, like in the Club World Cup, obviously Chelsea and City, the signings that they're making, and then obviously I don't want to go on to it yet, but you've got the rumours coming in with Liverpool will be linked to Ekatike, Isak, things like that. So it's constantly changing each one, but I think it's going to be a really exciting Premier League next season anyway.
Yeah, it's looking really on the kind of neutral basis for that title races that maybe we'll have one this year. Obviously, it didn't kind of pan out that way last. And of course they had to get Gyökeres because the main man that they wanted, Andy Carroll's gone to Dagenham and Redbridge. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
If you want to know more about him, though, come and watch my podcast on a Monday. You'll know all about Andy Carroll.
This is the weekly Andy Carroll watch that will be on Monday night. Mr. Arsenal Cox thinks the top two will be Arsenal and Liverpool. City third, Chelsea fourth. Has also said that Ethan Nwaneri signed a new deal with Arsenal, so he's going nowhere as well. And Tia thinks that Chelsea will finish above Arsenal. That's the shot there. So I think we're going to see a lot of these predictions. I think it'll be interesting because, you know, when you go back to the predictions, I think when we all kind of went, they're all kind of similar last. I think they're going to be very different this season. There's a lot of difficult ones to judge, like the top four, how close they are. You've then got question marks over kind of like, you know, people are then sort of writing teams like Villa and stuff. Villa is still a very good side. You know, Newcastle, what's happening with them? What does Crystal Palace's FA Cup win for them? Everton have got a new stadium. You know, Tottenham and United surely can't be as bad. Tottenham are smashing, which we're going to come to in a minute, and making some movement to the finances, which makes you think it could be different. You know, at Sunderland might be in Europe. Who knows? You know, it might. Who knows what could happen? But shall we go? Let's go to Tottenham, shall we, Harry, and say, because you've obviously had a pretty pretty busy week, making friends with Nottingham Forest, which we'll come to in a moment. But we'll talk about the one that is over the line and the one that has been confirmed. Mohamed Kudus from West Ham, 55 million, that kind of figure, I think, that seems to have gone through. What do you make of that one? A sign you're happy with the fee?
Yeah, very happy, Sam. And I think the fee is amazing because it was an £85 million release clause, and there was reports that West Ham were going to hold out for 65, and we managed to get 55. So I think that worked out perfectly. And I completely agree with Shah that Madueke is a good signing for Arsenal in terms of squad player. However, I think that does also make the Kudus deal look a little bit better than maybe it is. Yeah. To be honest with you, and you could say the same for Alanga as well. I think for 55 million. So nothing against Madueke, but I think he's a little bit less important, I suppose, or offers less than those other two. But no, I'm really happy with Kudus. He brings something to the Spurs team that no one else does, and that's that drop of the shoulder, can take on a player. I think for him, it's I could be wrong again, but the attitude, and is it right place for him? Is it because with West Ham, I felt that he lost his way last season. What's interesting is he played 45% of his minutes at Ajax in that 10 role. So talk about Spurs, we'll get on to later with Gibbs White having lots of 10s. Well, we definitely have a lot of cover in that position. Be interesting if he plays left or right side. That's another thing to note. West Ham, he played the majority of his time, especially last season, on that left-hand side. So when people say, yeah, but he only got 5 goals, 3 assists, he's playing out of position in a really poor West Ham side who went through 2 managers as well. So I think context is important. I think Thomas Frank will get a lot out of him. I think he'll start a lot more games than maybe we all are expecting, myself included. So I'm looking forward to seeing him. But for him, it's about, can he stay fit? Can he be consistent? Because we know what he's capable of in bursts, in moments. How often can he produce that is the real question. But it's competition as well for minutes. And we have a lot of wingers at the club, far too many, but we don't have the quality. So Kudus definitely brings something. And I'm excited to see, again, end product. Of course he needs to work on, but hopefully the right people around him and the right coach. I think he's got in Thomas Frank. I think we can all agree does improve players and does improve the team. Leaves him in a better place than where he comes into. So I'm excited, Sam. I think it's a good bit of business, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and as you mentioned Thomas Frank, obviously it's going to be a different time at Spurs next season. Frank plays a very different way to Ange. We don't have the Ange in, Ange out debate that we had for what seemed like months last season. That's done. Frank's now the man, and it's confirmed. What do you think he's going to bring to that Spurs, or what do you want to see him bring to that Spurs team that you didn't have last season in the league?
See, I like Ange, but I think that we lack tactical flexibility. To be in a game, and a good example that I think resonates with a lot of football fans, in particular Premier League fans, is when we lost 4-1 to Chelsea at home. That crazy game with 2 sendings off, VAR here, there and everywhere, penalties. It was a dramatic game. Well, I think Thomas Frank in that situation at 1-1 with 9 men would go, okay, the sensible thing is to do is to, I don't believe, Thomas Frank won't believe in playing that way, but let's be a bit more conservative, a bit more defensive, and I think we could have got something from the game because Chelsea are vulnerable defensively. And actually, look how many times they got caught offside. It took them 20-25 minutes to realise you have to stay behind, to stay on side. And once they got that, their forwards, they seemed to be all right. That was the thing. I just felt like we were gifting it to Chelsea. We all knew what was going to happen inside the stadium, so we won't have that kind of gun-ho, die on that hill kind of way of looking at things. And I just like that we can play numerous formations. I think it's healthy. And I think Thomas Frank won't be afraid to drop players, whereas under Postecoglou we know, okay, Son's not going to be dropped. The centre-backs, unless they're coming back from injury, aren't going to be dropped. So it sets a standard, Sam, and I think that flexibility I like the Ange's game management was okay, but I think Frank's in game management is just another level. I think he's very good. I look at our full-backs and go, you can get a lot out of it. But it's going to make a difference when your full-backs aren't in the opposition box and they're actually closer to your own box. I think that makes a big difference. And I think we'll be able to defend well, because that's the thing. We can have, 2 or 3 attacking-minded midfielders if the fullbacks are deeper. So hopefully we will concede less. I don't think his defensive record is something to shout about for Brentford. But even things like long throw-ins or set pieces, it's just a little advantage in games that win you games ultimately, especially in teams sitting around you that we haven't taken advantage of for so long. So I'm excited, a few things like that, but I think he'll be really good. I think he deserves this kind of move, I suppose, in his career, and I just hope that, obviously it is still a step up, I think that he'll be okay, and I look forward to watching us under him in just under a week's time against Reading.
So he's the ultimate studier, isn't he, Thomas Frank? You know, he does. He's a detail man and puts all of those elements in. Grimmy, I'll ask you this one because to give your perspective outside of Spurs, what do you think happens with the sort of Son and where he's at his kind of stage of the career, knowing that all these sort of wingers and that come in? Do you think it's more of a kind of bit part reduced role? Or do you think Frank's going to try and elevate him again to get the best?
I think. I mean, obviously, being outside Spurs, I'm not 100% sure of how it will go, but you'd still think he can bring something to that team quality-wise that other players can't. I wouldn't be against seeing how he does more centrally with Frank. I feel like he could do something there. I don't necessarily think he'll be, like you say, starting 11 every week because of the players they're bringing in, but definitely as a leader for the team and as maybe like a rotation option at the very worst. I don't think there's worse positions or players to have there than Son in there. But yeah, again, it's difficult to say because again, I don't watch Spurs every week, so I haven't really seen how Son's been playing too much towards the back end of the season. But it's kind of difficult to hear his name and not think he's going to be part of Spurs in some way, shape, or form next season. Do you know what I mean? Like he's been that good a servant for them that I still think he's probably got something to give as well, especially when he's been with them through all the highs and lows and then won the trophy. As much as it pains me to say it, he's won a trophy with Spurs last season against us. So yeah, I still think he's got something to give though.
Yes, he's been their long servant for a long time. Well, of course, of course, there's the other transfer going on at the moment, or maybe not going on. Nottingham Forest are very keen to show lots of Morgan Gibbs-White photos from their training ground at the moment. So, Harry, I guess do you want to kind of summarise anyone who's not been sort of aware what's kind of happened this week with Morgan Gibbs-White, Spurs bids, angry owner?
Yeah, crazy. So it looks like Spurs have activated this release clause for Gibbs-White of 60 million. But the issue that Forest seem to have, in my opinion, I think it's that they've lost Alanga and now potentially Gibbs-White, in the same week. And it doesn't look good for them. It doesn't, suggest they're not serious next season. So I think that they want to... It's all about, I think, proving a point. It's all about making it difficult. I think we've got an owner in Mariakis that likes to create enemies. He's not here to make friends. He wants to prove a point. He's like, look at me. And it doesn't look good for him, does it? Forest have an excellent season last season. They fall away at the end and they sell their two best assets. It doesn't look good, whatever way you look at it. But yeah, it seems to be an issue with the confidentiality of like contractual details. If I'm honest with you, I think Spurs have probably done something wrong, but I think it occurs maybe more common than we think. I do think that players are tapped up maybe more regularly than maybe the Premier League know, let's just say. So it's probably a case that Spurs have gone to Gibbs-White, his agent, his representatives, if you like, and they've asked and they've told him about release clause and they've come up with a bid. I don't think they would have guessed 60 million because we have to go low ball with the offers. So I think we did know about that rather than consulting Forest first. That would be the issue with it. And I think Forest we're also frustrated about because if you believe reports from the top sources that suggest that they've been trying for a long time now, all year, all season, to get Morgan Gibbs-White to sign a new contract, which they had two options with that: to remove his release clause completely, so they wouldn't be in this sticky situation, or increase it to apparently about 85, 90 million. So either way, they would have been all right. So I think that's a frustrating thing. They've seen Langer go, then they've seen Gibbs-White go, and it's kind of out of their control. So I think they want to prove a point. I'm totally honest with you, Sam. I think he'd be a Spurs player. It's just whether Levy goes, okay, it's in compensation. That might be what Forest want. Let's get this deal done. Frank will be itching to have him for that pre-season tour. So Spurs might just go 5-10 million. Here you go. But Forest take that, prove a point. 5-10 million along the way to increase their kind of funding and budget, I suppose, for the summer. I think he does end up a Spurs player, it's whether we walk away or not. But I hope that we stay persistent and patient, especially if we believe we've done nothing wrong. Ultimately, we don't know that. That's a big factor in this. But we don't desperately need a number 10. Kulusevski, Maddison, Bergevall, Kudus as well, all capable of playing the 10 role. I'd rather us go and get a number 6, find full-back cover, leave Gibbs-White on pause and just see how it happens. But if I'm totally honest with you, even if I do take my Spurs hat off, I think it's a little bit of pettiness from Forest, and I think we're talking about an owner that has caused a lot of problems wherever he's gone, from following an official down the tunnel to having to go at Nuno, to the statement that we saw when a few decisions went against him. and his side. So I'm not a big fan of Forest at the minute, and nor Crystal Palace. So we're not the only ones.
There we go. I think you're right. I think that they're going to have to. Forest are going to have to save face in terms of losing two of their best players. That's maybe where I think some of it will come down to as well. They obviously will, and Kucha says here about maybe wanting Vissa, something else. They need to be showing that they're doing something. Otherwise, they're going to be seen as everyone sort of coming in and poaching. Obviously, they believe they've got their claim here, and Marinakis is going for it. He's an ambitious guy, and it suits kind of his competitive mentality. Nick here from obviously Nottingham Forest perspective, they've issued legal notice to Spurs and Gisborne agent. There are no talks are happening whatsoever. So I think this is going to be our summer rumbling transfer. I think as you said, Harry, it's going to go all the way. And but you are in a position of strength with that position of 10. You know that it isn't like that you need somebody there desperately. If it didn't happen, there are options, or maybe I'm sure Spurs have got other options on their shortlist as well, and like Maddison, etc., like that. So it probably helps that kind of strong position. Shah, in terms of their player himself, I mean, you can't dismiss how good Gibbs White has been last season, broken into the England squad as well, absolute sort of quality. Do you think the move itself would be a good one for him to sort of spearhead that kind of Spurs resurgence that they're looking for?
Do you know what I do? I think he's a perfect player for Spurs. Like, honestly, do you know, like, you always have them players who you think, they go really well at that club. I just think Morgan Gibbs-White would be absolutely perfect for Spurs, especially considering, like we've said, with Son and things like that. I think he's got the pace. He's proven in the Premier League as well. And I know I keep saying that, but I think that is massive at this point for the teams who obviously, we've said with Cunha at United and things like that. I think we need to go down the route now of getting Premier League proven players, because in the past, and it does work out from time to time, but in the past we've seen they've got the young up and coming talents from abroad and things like that, and they haven't worked out. And I feel like Spurs and Man United in particular need to go for these Premier League proven players now who can do it and have the experience in the Premier League. Morgan Gibbs-White is someone I really, really rate. I love watching him play football as well. If he's not starting, I think he can obviously come on, change a game. He's more than capable and a very dangerous player. I think he'll be absolutely perfect for Spurs. I just think it's a massive loss for obviously Nottingham Forest and Nuno, considering the season last season. And like you said, Sam, I feel like they have become the team now, like Bournemouth as well, where teams are poaching, the bigger clubs are poaching their kind of players now, but it was always going to happen, weren't it?
Yeah, it's a sad effect where somebody has that kind of sort of boost up. I mean, the one thing about Forest, though, is they've proven themselves, particularly last summer, that have been good themselves in the transfer market and picking players. Like, you only got to look at the prices for Milenkovic, Murillo, and then even sort of Elanga they got from United. I mean, look, they've lost a player, but they've made 40 million on them at the same time and got themselves into Europe. So that's a pretty good going. Kucha says Gibbs White will never start for England. Never start for England. Even if he moves to Spurs over Bellingham, Palmer and Foden, this generation of creative English midfielders is too good. Well, people get injured, there's changes of structures, and you need different options for different things. And it's great, I think, to have that many options, in there to challenge. So, if we ever get there with Foden doing anything, that would be nice. What else have we got here? Let me just have a little gander. David goes and says, good evening, I've just joined late. Chelsea winning cup shock hope for Rochdale, and you're signing a goalkeeper as well, Shah. There you go. Got exciting. So there we are. Yeah, nice transfer. Nice transfer all through the leagues. So we'll go. Grimmy, do you want to talk? We'll move on to this. What's been going on at Newcastle? You've been like our Newcastle correspondent.
I know I live in the northeast of England, but I don't think that gives me qualification.
As close to the ground as any of us will get. So let us know what's been going on.
Yeah, it's kind of a bit of a bizarre one, really, because Newcastle, of course, have put a bid in of about 70 million, I think it was, for Ekitike. I think I'm pronouncing that right. So again, kind of surprised by that one, because obviously they've got Isak, thinking they did need another striker, but I didn't think they were going to get maybe as promising a striker as Ekitike. That got rejected, and then shortly after that, Liverpool have come in with potentially a bid of 120 million, which Newcastle have shut down straight away, saying not a chance in hell. We think he's about 150 million, which, to be fair, with what he did last season, I can't really disagree with. So it's kind of a bit of a bizarre one because I wasn't thinking they were going to get someone of that, or try and get someone of that stature to back up Isak, unless they were seeing Isak trying to leave or Liverpool coming in for him, because I know there was a rumor back in March. So it's kind of difficult to tell if it was kind of they were trying to prepare for Isak maybe going, or if they were just trying to get a really good backup option to play and fill in for Isak and not make Isak have to play 50, 60 games a season. But yeah, I feel like this is just the start of it, though. I don't feel like this is going to go away because I feel like Liverpool aren't necessarily going to drop it. I know there's rumours that they might now go for Ekitike to lead the line for them, which would certainly be an interesting power move when the club that's originally going for him rejects your bid for their player. You go, well, sod you then, we're going to go get the player you wanted originally. Bit of a power move from Liverpool there, if I do say so myself. So, yeah, we'll be interested to see how it all plays out, I think.
Yeah, it's been a nice little. I'm loving a bit of drama between two teams that kind of, don't. I know in the past maybe Newcastle, Liverpool, the rival, but I love this kind of, and it always kickstarts something ahead of the new season where there's a little bit of needle suddenly. Spurs Forest will be tasty next season. Newcastle, Liverpool because of sort of transfer issues. But as you said, like, it's a very strange one where you've got Isak the bid trying to sort of almost push them for Ekitike and playing that merry-go-round sort of system with them, and it will be interesting how it ends up. I mean, you would imagine it's possibly going to end up Ekitike at Liverpool, and then Newcastle will have to stick with, but they need a second striker. I think it said so in the chat. They've only got one senior striker. Can't see Isak leaving this winter. And if they were going to spend that much money on Ekitike, surely he's playing with him. That's a lot of money for a backup striker. You would have thought. I wouldn't have thought he'd want to go there to be a backup striker either. That they would be working with him. And it's going to be an interesting one, I think, with obviously what Liverpool have already done so far in the window, haven't they? They've done Florian Wirtz and one or two things. There's rumours of Darwin Núñez going to possibly Saudi. Of course, we haven't been on air ourselves. I know we covered it on the lower league, so I think we shot in terms of the horrendous Diogo Jota news, which is horrific, and everyone's still kind of getting their heads around what's happened. And Liverpool, the emotion, I think they've dealt with it in a fantastic way, to be fair to Liverpool, and I think they've been absolute class in the way they've managed all of it. But pragmatically, they're going to have to think about the squad as well, aren't they? It's a bit of a challenge. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting how that one sort of pans out. I mean, Shah, as I said, surely at some stage maybe might not always be at Newcastle, but I don't think it's going to be this window, is it?
I don't think so. Surely not, considering, like everyone's saying, the lack of striker they've actually got at the moment anyway. And the goals last season, I know there was other people chipping in, but Isak was the main man, wasn't he? No, I can't see it. I can't see it, but then again, I don't want it to happen anyway. Surely Liverpool can't get Isak, please. Please.
Yeah, I think that would tip the predictions a little tad, wouldn't it? I think with Isak going to Liverpool, can't be having that, Grimmy, when we're talking about Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Jamie Vardy. Come on,
no, that's not. Why did you have to bring that comparison in? Not just
Kevin Highland. I'm joking.
Kevin. Good God. Let's just exactly. Stephen reckons Ekitike to Liverpool in the end. I think I think that's how the story may well end up there. Green, was there anything else on your transfer list that you wanted to talk about? We haven't covered yet. Anybody have any excitement?
The lack of Mbeumo at United is probably the only thing.
And Mbeumo at the moment.
Yeah. I think everyone was holding out hope in the United fan base that the away kit getting announced tomorrow was going to be maybe a surprise reveal of him, but it looks like that is far from the case. So, yeah, who knows at this point if that's going to go through. Yeah, I guess we're at the point with it where we have to stick with it now, because if we don't get him, we're going to look stupid, and we're probably not going to get as good an option in if he doesn't come in. So, yeah, once again, we're being played for fools, is how I'll put it politely, Sam.
Yeah, I think the Umbrella, it's a really interesting one for me because they have to, let's be honest, United's transfer business over the past decade has been farcical. It's been farcical. They've been taken for a ride. And at some stage to change the pathway or whatever, you've got to do something different. You've got to stand your ground. And that seems to be what they're doing. At the same time, then you get people who are like, "I just pay it." And you're like, yeah, that's kind of how we've got in the mess that we're at the minute. It's just being able to ransom over everything. So at some stage, you've got to dig in deep and say, okay, no, we're not going to. And it's whether, will we stick with that? Will it twist? Did Brentford know that? And then I think, obviously, the third wheel in all of this is Johan Visser. And if Johan Visser goes, then possibly the want to sell him was even less. The price may even go up for that basis. So TA says, for once, I don't blame United for holding firm. They have to do it as much as it's frustrating with United, for being a United fan, not watching anything happening, but also we also know we can't get rid of the players that we have, that we need to move on to enable us to do it, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we had this situation pretty much with Anthony when Ten Hag came in, because originally in the summer at the start we got given, I think it was like a 40 or 50 million pound valuation for him, and we said no. We don't want to pay that much for him. We don't think he's worth that much. Went through the summer, and then basically, I think they sold one or two of their like prodigies, or one of their younger players, a couple of their younger players, and basically said, we don't want to sell him now. So we're gonna add like 30 million to the price. And because we got to the end of that summer, desperate for a forward player, we went, right, we'll pay the 70 million, which still upsets me. We paid 70 million for that man, but anyway. We paid 70 million for Anthony, and then look what we got. So I don't think that will be the case with Mbeumo. If we paid 70 million for him, I think we'd obviously get a much better product and would get goals and assists. But it's kind of a carbon copy of what could potentially happen, especially like you say, Sam, if Wissa does go.
Yeah, I think it's changing that narrative, isn't it? And that's the worry. A negotiation can go one or two ways. You can hold out, and sometimes that helps you get a lower price, but sometimes somebody else can come along and it can affect things. So time in a negotiation for anything is really, really interesting. Simon says, Sam, is there any talk of Anthony going anywhere? They are talking to Betis. There does seem to be, again, a bit of negotiation back and forth. From what I've heard, that Anthony is the closest out of the five, isn't it? The group, the naughty group, as they like to call them, that are training on their own at the moment, of Rashford, Sancho, Anthony, Malacia, and Garnacho.
Yeah.
I think Anthony's the one that's closest, and it does appear potentially Betis is the one.
For the other ones, isn't it? When Anthony's the first choice.
Well, Anthony's the first. Anthony's the first one out.
Apparently, Sancho's not close, but he's basically like maybe within the next week might go to Juve. But obviously, it's going to be a very cheap deal for them. So who knows?
I heard a lot of it is because he wants a severance package from United.
Just
are you taking the actual? Just
get him out. Like it's never mind.
Absolutely right. David says if United gave away or released some players, they'd make millions in wages per week. Don't wait to sell, just throw away. I mean, yeah, there's still some significant fees to some of those as well. So you need to recoup something, but it is difficult. It's difficult because people know you're not desperate to sell, so it just changes that. But there was some exciting news on the social media yesterday, Grimmy. I don't know if you picked this up. A lot of United fans did. Everyone else is announcing transfers and stuff's coming out, and we shared a video of us cutting the grass at Carrington and showing how lovely it was. Which is all, as long as the grass is, priorities, people, priorities. The grass is looking wonderful. So if you had any worries, don't worry.
As long as Mason Mount and Luke Shaw don't get injured again in pre-season, I'll take that as the best news we could possibly have at this point.
That's true, actually, maybe. But,
there's one rumour I did see, though, Sam.
Sam? Yeah. Is he coming back?
Is he back?
Yeah, he's back.
Yeah. There's still a lot of rumours flying around, and it's got even more hotter news that Emi Martinez is being linked still to United. Would you take that, you two, or not? Because I love Emi Martinez.
I think the link came back again today, didn't it? Because Anana's got a hamstring injury, so he's missing the preseason tour, and apparently that might then change them being interesting again. And Martinez, the problem for me again is it's going to be a bit of a crazy fee, and do we need more characters? I don't know. I mean, anything that's not Anana could be an upgrade.
Really bad, couldn't it?
It's one of those, isn't it? It would be one or the other, and he's not. Yeah. I mean, he has moments. I mean, we saw at the end of the season the one he had against us. Yeah. It was ironic we go and buy a goalkeeper that's then suspended for the first 3 games because he got sent off against us last season,
I forgot about that.
It's a firm no from me.
This is it. Johnny has said, what do we think about John Victor moved to Untied? What do you think about John Victor moving to Untied, Grimmy?
I thought it was pretty much tied up, to be honest, but being untied, it was.
Yeah, exactly. It's been undone.
Yeah.
It's been undone indeed. So, I mean, I'll come to you, Harry, on another transfer just off another team. Jordan Henderson going to Brentford, of course, which is I had him nailed on for Sunderland. I thought surely that was going to happen as a thing, so sort of a bit surprising. What do you make of Brentford? I suppose free transfer, a bit of leadership. Norgard's gone to Arsenal. Is that a good one for them? And Henderson's obviously looking for trying to get into that England World Cup squad, which I'm sure the entirety of England are on their feet, jumping up and down with excitement.
I'm sure they are. Totally. We'll have to see how many minutes he does get, if any, at all. That's actually an interesting one to see. But with Norgard, I think I have 2 ways of looking at it. I think it's a smart signing from Arsenal. His experience. I think he's a good midfielder. I don't think maybe the best in ability, but he brings a lot of leadership, a lot of experience, know-how. I wanted it at Tottenham. I'm totally honest. I just went, look, someone who knows Thomas Frank could make that transition to a new club a lot easier. But having said that, he hasn't got the ability that someone like a Partey or Jorginho maybe has. But for Brentford, I think Henderson's a smart signing. I think it's someone who fits the mould quite well. Again, talking about experience, talking about leadership, plugging gaps. It certainly isn't what I'd call maybe an ambitious signing. It's not, oh my God, look at this upgrade. It's someone to kind of, I think, soften the blow of losing Norgard. Because Brentford, this could be really damaging. And I don't know what can happen to them this year. To lose Thomas Frank and the whole of their coaching staff, then to, lose Norgard to Arsenal. Who's next? From Burma to Man United could be Wisser as well, and his club's sniffing around for him. I don't think my club will get him. I think he's more likely to go to Nottingham Forest as that Alanga replacement who can also play that false 9. But time will tell. I think it'll work out for Henderson. I think he'll play most games, and I think he's kept his chance of playing for England again alive. Unfortunately, I think he has. So we have to see how he gets on.
This is it. We shall see. We shall see indeed. Who knows? Other transfers going on. We've got Nick saying Igor Jesus and Joao Cunha for 20 million coming from Botafogo. They were both on show in the Club World Cup, I think. So that's some good additions kind of coming their way. And anything else that we've got in there. Johnny knows it as a keeper from Brazil with a release clause of 6 million. I heard United are looking. Well, there you go. Johnny's been scouting for us out in Brazil with new players.
From Rochelle Olympic to Brazil.
He's everywhere.
It's a man of many talents.
He's everywhere. Charles, what about this one? Kyle Walker, of course, has gone to Burnley. Yeah. That's a surprising one, and coach thinks we in the England squad off the back of that. I mean, that again, surprising.
Do you know what? I actually think that's a really good signing for Burnley, especially experience. I don't particularly like Kyle Walker as a person for more reasons than one, but footballing wise and the experience he'll bring, obviously on the pitch and into the dressing rooms and stuff, I think is vital for someone like Burnley. Obviously, we've seen in the past, haven't we, where been promoted, gone back down, and I think it's vital for Scott Parker as well, to be honest, to kind of call on people that he can rely on. And Yeah, I think Burnley have actually made some really good signings. I don't know if it's official yet, but I know they've been linked with Callum Wilson as well, who's just left Newcastle, striker Callum Wilson. I know it is a bit of a gamble considering his injuries, but again, it's still experience at the end of the day, and it could really pay off for Burnley. I'm looking forward, to be fair, to see what Burnley can bring this year, because I feel like it'll be a lot different from Vincent Kompany. I know Scott Parker in the past hasn't had the best record in the Premier League, but I feel like he's trying to learn and trying to adapt. So yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how they get on this season.
Yeah, I think it will be. I'm going to say that they are doing some interesting things, and it'll be more of a pragmatic Burnley than what we saw, as you said. Nick's confirmed it's not Johnny. It's not John Victor. It's John Martin. It's the goalkeeper that we've got. I've heard some links actually about. I don't know an awful lot about him, to be honed.
No wonder he was untied if he had the wrong name.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why they had to untie it, Grimmy. They bought the wrong bloke. It had to be done.
Poor Victor.
Poor Victor.
Innocent man.
He's an innocent man. Grimmy, Joseph says, "How about Jackson to United or Arsenal if you don't get their primary targets? Would you take that, considering the state of our striking non department at the minute?"
I'd probably take a look if it was a loan. Yeah. I wouldn't sign him permanently. I think a year of him playing for us as a stopgap to get to next summer when we can maybe buy someone. But yeah, that's probably the maximum I would do.
There we go. And Nick's confirmed this is just John Victor Martin is his name. It's
the man of many names.
Many names. He just needs one, like Pele or something in Brazil. It's so much easier when it's just Ronaldinho or Kaká. Do you know what I mean? It's John, the well-known Brazilian John. Graham with the old Forest Green Savage here. Kyle Walker is more washed than my hands were during COVID. Wow, Graham, that's just going.
Does that mean you've stopped washing your hands, Graham? Because that's kind of what that sentence sounds like.
Good, Graham.
Yeah, pandemics only.
Come on, Graham.
Pandemics only. Harry, on your side, with obviously Spurs been busy with lots of. Is there anything else you're hearing, or any other positions that you think are in the market, or do you think this is the main deals that you're looking at?
Looks like we've had a mad 24 hours where Levy's credit card has been stolen, but I think it's now come back, all crashing back down to reality because I've had a single link to a player. I've heard that we were admiring Adam Walton, but I think if you told Levy 100 million, I think that he'd pass out. Yeah, what a player! Absolutely, I'd pay it. Yeah, to be honest, absolutely. I think he's, for me, the best six out there. I think we're talking about someone that real future ahead of him. Someone who's going to be in the England team for a good 10 years. I think can go right to the very top. I think you're absolutely right. Just the way he can read a game. And tell you what, I'll be kind to Man United here. I feel sorry for you after the Europa League final, so I'll be kind. Bruno Fernandes, I think his ability to see a pass is one and to execute it is another. But just even going in person to Tottenham Man United games, he's just so much better than the rest. He'll ping a pass. The difference is with United is who's on the receiving end. Often it's a poor touch from them. It's a poor pass or at least to nothing. And I remember Fernandes put a really good pass in once and you lost it. I can't remember who lost it. It might have been someone like
that happened at least 5 times a game every season.
Exactly. Yeah. We're down the other end. And yeah, it's poor Fernandes. You see he's frustrated. He was everywhere. But, the point is Walton can see a pass. He can play it as well. So I'd love it. But I think that's a bit unrealistic. I'd love Wissa and you move on Richarlison. You have 2 strong strikers, which it looks like Newcastle are going to do as well. But again, that's probably living in cuckoo land. But my biggest concern, Sam, for me is now, and I don't think we're going to solve it, is you've got to have that 4 homegrown players or something for the Champions League. We only have 1, which means we have to take this smaller squad like we did last year. And looking at our squad now, we're going to have to leave out just under half. I don't know how it's going to look. We talk about Heung-min Son, we talk about players like Ben Davis, and even the likes of Kudus, you would have thought would have been in there. But difficult choices are going to have to be made. It'd be a case of you go, okay, we're going to have Kudus but not Tell, when you don't want to be in that situation for a couple like Spurs. The problem is we sign players. A good example is Luka Vlahovic, if anyone's heard of him, Croatian, who we signed last summer. And he's come in this year because we loaned him out straight away. He's more than likely not going to be homegrown because we're probably going to loan him out again this year. They've got to do 3 years, haven't they, before they turn 21. That's something that we just do because it's an easy option. But we actually have no homegrown players. We have one at the moment. So it may be the case that we go, Kyle Walker-Peters quickly back before he leaves, or someone like Dennis Sirkin and players like this proper clutching at straws. I think that'll be the focus, unfortunately, Sam, for the rest of the window. I wish it was Wissa, Mbamo, Adam Walton, all these players, but it's probably going to be Kyle Walker-Peters.
Yeah, homegrown, could bring your homegrowns back that have been out. I always love that term, the homegrown player. Makes sound like you've got like a greenhouse at the back of your training ground, just getting you water them down every day. One day they'll be in the Champions League. Those little tomatoes. More confusion on the Brazilian golf player. It's Martin John Victor, apparently.
Oh my gosh, what's going on?
This guy. I mean, if he doesn't come now, I'm going to be devastated just because he's just a man of many.
We need to adopt him as like our podcast player, even though we don't know his name.
Yeah, this is it. The goalkeeper who shall not be named. And Johnny's scouted again because he's Purvis Estupinan, Grimmy from Brighton. Have you heard anything about Purvis? I thought he was going back to. South America, but
it had just flashed up on my phone before, so it's only something that's come out today, I think. So, I mean, I'd take him. Don't get me wrong, but
haven't we got 3 left backs though?
Yeah, but I think, do we really have 3 left backs when Shaw's going to be out for 3/4 of the season?
No, but I would imagine it's one of these. I think this summer's about. Yeah, it's bit by bit, isn't it? We know it's 3-4 windows, isn't it? I'd have said that. Yeah,
you say bit by bit. I say anyone we can get our hands on at this point.
Grimmy says clear out, start again, full on, whoosh. I mean, look,
Harry Maguire up front, bosh. There we go.
Yeah, this is it. And Stephen says for Brooks is losing his mind with all these Johns and these Victors. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know what to announce. Charles, any other transfers that caught your eye? Anything else that you've heard of or rumoured or?
I really don't want to mention it because I know everyone's not the biggest fans, but again, I feel like Manchester City have done really well recruitment-wise. As we saw in January, bringing Marmouche in. Shirky, I think, is brilliant signing. Nori as well, who we've all last season, I can't get my words out, said how well he was at Wolves, and I just feel like with them, they just seem to pull it off, don't they, consistently, Manchester City, and get these gems. But yeah, they've obviously got a lot of youth prospects coming through as well, City, as we've seen, obviously, last season, and I feel like they'll be a force. Trying to think.
115 charges.
I know exactly.
Sorry, I just had
still annoys me.
You've had that cough for about 2 years, Grimmy. What's that about?
Yeah. Probably should see the doctor about that. Some law firm to actually take the charges away or something. I don't know.
No, they have done some good stuff, and they'd spent a lot of money in January. And I think everyone that's seeing the business Arsenal's doing, getting excited with some of that. I've seen the business Liverpool doing, get excited with that. But you can't sleep on Man City, and a Man City that didn't win anything last year. Maybe the hunger's back, etc. Can Pep react to that? He's going to want to see that. So I think that's going to be really interesting. What kind of reaction we get from City, they're just going to keep spending until they get back there. So we're not surprised, but it will be certainly interesting. Harry, before we go to, because I've got a fun little game that I haven't told you about, which is going to be should be coming up, which will be exciting.
Games.
Love a good game, Grimmy. Is there anything else you've heard of transfer wise? Anything else that's grabbed your attention, or that you've heard on the rumourville that you think is interesting?
There is just now. It's literally just come through from Sky Sports News. It's
breaking news.
Yeah, breaking news, and that is Ipswich Town captain Sam Morsey is set to sign for some Kuwait FC. So basically, Middle Eastern team have been offered life-changing terms for him and his family. So looks like he's going to be leaving. And one of my best mates is an Ipswich fan, and he just texted saying that this is quite a big thing. I was like, yeah, but he hasn't got the kind of legs anymore, and I think he's struggling in the Premier League. But he makes a good point that he's been Ipswich Town captain for a long time, and it's just that experience, that leadership and he just didn't see him going. So I think that would come as a bit of a shock to Ipswich Town fans. There's also another one as well that's come through in the last kind of 45 minutes, and that's Leeds have finally agreed a fee with Newcastle for Longstaff. How many bids has there been? 3, 4, 5? We got there in the end.
Yeah,
that's those two things.
That's it. That's live off the press.
Fabrizio who?
I know.
Yeah.
Exactly. Where
Can I
is the
just
books here?
quickly, Sam, really quickly before we go on to the game? I don't know if anybody else has thought about it, but is anyone worried about West Ham? Because I feel like with this Kudus deal and the money they could have potentially got, are they short of money of some sort? Because I've not really seen them doing much business. Obviously, they've had a few outgoings as well. Kudus is obviously a massive player. I just feel like I'm a bit worried for them this season. I don't really know what to expect of them.
No, it's been quiet, hasn't it, on the West Ham side? I can't recall anything that they've kind of done. I think it was an interesting back end to the last season because it didn't kind of go, I think, the way they expected with Potter. I think that was an interesting start. I'm just having a look to see what they've got on the transfer side and their ins.
There's rumours of Souček going as well. I think he was actually linked to Newcastle at one point and then obviously abroad. But yeah, I just... Obviously, the situation with Antonio as well. I know he's back in training. I know there's a lot of stuff going on, but that's still not obviously been resolved yet. And I just feel like with West Ham at the moment, is it a financial kind of thing with them obviously selling Kudus that low?
Well, I think some of it looks to be. I mean, they've got Todibo in on that was obviously a permanent from the loan last season. So they paid 32 million on Kudus, according to this. They bought a left wing back, El Hadji Malik Diouf, not the old Hadji Diouf, it's the new Hadji Diouf. yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's him suspended half the season. That's just under 20 million they've spent off him, but. Because, I know they've moved Aaron Cresswell's on. I think he's gone to Stoke, hasn't he? And Vladimir Kufau's gone, so they're fullbacks. But that's it so far. And they bought a young striker from Celtic as well. So I would imagine, there's a bit of concern when you look at what all the other teams are kind of doing and where West Ham would like to be getting back to. But I think it's a tough thing. As you said, Nick says, Hadji Malik Diouf from Slavia Prague. David says, Grimmy, watch out. The doctor might charge you for 115 times the treatments. It's a scandal. There you go. And Mr. Arsenal comes. The bottom three come May will be Burnley, West Ham and Brentford.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Man United on the 18th there. I really did.
No, that guy's going me. I don't want the season to start. When I like everything else. Just not them at the minute. It's too hard. One I'm interested in, I don't know what you think, guys, on Sunderland seem to have done quite a bit of business. They seem to have been some interesting business. They've also bought quite a few African players, and it is the African Cup of Nations going on in January, February. That could be a big hit. Do you think? I mean, we've seen sides come up, spend money. Ipswich spent, I think, the second highest in the Premier League last year. They spent a crazy amount of money, and then obviously didn't stand up. Where do you think, in terms of Sunderland, do you think this is the right kind of way that they need to be going about it? I know it's exciting for Sunderland fans and the signings, and everybody loves that to sort of go in the Premier League. Harry, I ask you, what do you think of? Do you think Sunderland have got a shot at that survival next season with the business they're doing?
Yeah, I think so. I think that'd be fair to say. I think Leeds are making sensible signings as well, but nowhere near as ambitious, such as long-staff Premier League experience. I think that will go under the radar how important that is. Shah mentioned it earlier, I think, as well. Premier League experience, you're halfway there with that. And that's so true. Someone who's been there, done it, I think is crucial for Leeds. So Sunderland got deals done, paying the big bucks, but how many times have we seen it? It just backfires. You look at Forest when they spent so much in that first season, brought so many new players into another level, another extreme, I know, but they really struggled and just about kept up, and now they're starting to really push on. So bringing in lots of players at once doesn't work. Very good point you make. You mentioned, someone's mentioned it there as well. It runs all the way from December to January. It's what, a month? So it's a long time, and that can be the difference, can't it, between kind of your 16th and your 20th. All of a sudden, we know how things can change really quickly in football. So I give Sunderland a chance. They had to get deals done. They didn't have a Premier League squad at all. It was a Championship squad. They've signed players, but don't forget they've lost obviously Joe Bellingham as well. So and that's makes up for 2 or 3 signings. In my opinion, I don't think he's anywhere like his brother, but it's a big name nonetheless. Someone said as well, Sunderland looking at Grant Xhaka again. Premier League experience. It makes sense. Been there, done it. Bring him in. So I back Sunderland to put up a fight. Let's say I'm not going to stick my neck on the line just yet, unless you ask me later. But I think they'll put up a fight. They'll certainly be better than people think. They're not going to do a Sheffield United or whoever over last season that really struggled. Sheffield United's a good example. I think that they're really Southampton. If we do anyone like that, it's going to be rock bottom. I think they'll push on.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see what they do, and it's exciting to them, sort of nonetheless. Mr. Arsenal said Man United will end 17th. Don't worry. Well, there you go. 17th or 2nd, it's still no trophy, is it? So, 17th at the minute, Grimmy's probably not far off maybe where we're thinking, but hopefully better times. Who knows? So I think transfer-wise, I'm all done. There's nothing else unless anything from Fabrizio's come out in the last minute. So it's a fun... And Grimmy, you will be pleased because you played this game last time, so I'm not going to subject you because last time you remember the fun game that we played, yourself and Rebecca. We played a wonderful game,
yes.
Which I call higher or absolutely lower, where we have a list. And I'm going to start with Harry, and it's a Spurs centric one. So don't worry, it's on your home topic. And of course, higher or lower, we have a list of Tottenham players and their transfer fees. And you have to tell me whether the player is higher or lower than the previous player in terms of transfer fees from the last 10 years. So it's a fairly recent thing. So let me get it up here to make sure that I have got Tottenham transfers first. Otherwise, that might be a bit embarrassing. You'll be like, we never signed that bloke, Sam. What are you talking about? So starting off, we've got the baseline here. We've got Tanguy Ndombele. Remember him, £55 million. And again, as we found, Grimmy and I found this is in terms of what ChatGPT has given me for the transfer fees. So we don't know where we're at with add-ons and anything else like that. So who knows? Yeah. Grimmy's now not a fan of AI. Him and AI are at war. It's a bit like iRobot. Tanguy Ndombele. So higher or lower than a Tanguy Ndombele, Harry? Christian Romero.
Romero's less.
Correct, it was less. £42.5 million from Atalanta. Higher or lower than a Christian Romero? And Moussa Sissoko.
Oh, we paid a lot for him, It was very close. I'm going to go slightly less. I think he's 40-something.
He was less at 30 million for Moussa Sissoko.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's less than I thought.
Yeah, from Newcastle in 2016. Higher or lower than a Moussa Sissoko? A Giovanni Lo Celso.
Higher.
Lower. They are lower.
Oh.
£27 million. There you go.
Oh, sorry. I meant Lo Celso was higher. I just realised the way you worded it. Listen.
And next up, we've got higher or lower the Giovanni Lo Celso. Heung-min Song. Quite a while ago now.
Yeah.
You're saying Lo Celso is higher. Correct. Heung-min Song was only £22 million back in 2015 from Bayer Leverkusen.
Still.
There you go. I'm confused, David. Let me know what you said. He's good at this game, but the answers come on slow. Do you mean I'm too fast or too slow with the answers? I'm confused. If it's slow, surely it gives you more time to answer. Higher or lower than a Heung-min Song? Pedro Porro.
Porro's higher.
Porro is higher. Correct. £39 million from Sporting in 2023. Higher or lower than a Pedro Porro? Dejan Kulusevski.
Oh, mine's gone blank. Porro higher. We got a good deal for Kulusevski.
Porro was higher. 25 million for Kulusevski. Doing well.
That was a good deal, to be fair.
That was a good deal. Higher or lower than a Kulusevski? Davinson Sanchez.
It brings back memories. I think Vincent Janssen is a little bit lower.
You think it was Davinson Sanchez was £42 million. It's a big fee from Ajax. Higher or lower than a Davinson Sanchez? A Richarlison.
Richarlison was high. I think it was like 50 million with 10 million add-ons. God knows if he ever got it or not.
It's got 60 million down here, so maybe the add-ons have gone through 2022. Higher or lower than a Richarlison? A James Maddison.
Richarlison higher.
Richarlison was higher. James Maddison just 40 million compared to Richarlison 60 million. Higher or lower than a Brian Maddison? James Maddison, a Brian Gill.
Well, that was an interesting deal. That was. James Maddison is the higher one, but Brian Gill was really interested, like 25 million plus the Mella, I think.
Yeah, it was 22 million. You know, you say Lamela was part of that deal, so it was an interesting one. Higher, lower than a Brian Gill, a Lucas Moura.
Oh, I don't remember the fee for that. Must be close either way. Lucas Moura slightly higher.
Was just slightly higher, 23 million compared to 22 million.
Oh,
Close
that's
one, that one. From PSG in 2018. Higher or lower than a Lucas Moura, a Sergio Reguilon.
Oh, that's puzzled me, that. Let's say Reguilon higher. That deal happened really quickly, I remember that.
Reguilon was higher, 27 million from 2020 in Real Madrid. And finally, higher or lower than a Sergio Reguilon, a Pap Matar.
I think Reguilon's higher. I don't remember Sar's fee either.
And correct. Yeah, Reguilon is high, 27 million, 14.6 million for Sarr. So very well done, Harry. That was very good. You know your highs and lowers. Shah, for you, I've got a random mix, but fortunately you have your...
Don't say a deal because we get all our players on a free.
I was going to say free. Is it a free or a loan? Was going to be the game. But no, we've got a bunch of random players. But thankfully, you've got your beautiful assistant Grimmy to help you because he's very experienced at this game.
I wish I'd known the thing of having to be beautiful for this. So I'd have put more effort in, but that's all right.
Yeah, exactly. Right, starting off, Shah. First one, Alex Iwobi from Everton at 34 million is your base here, right?
Right.
Next up, Patson Daka for Leicester City.
My instinct's saying lower, but because it's Leicester, but I don't know.
Correct. It was less. It was 23 million. There you go. From Red Bull Salzburg. Right. Higher or lower than a Patson Daka, a Danny Ings signing for Aston Villa in 2021.
Do you have any idea?
20 million. So hang on. Daka was how much?
23 million pounds. Remember the English pounds.
And Ings went to Villa from Liverpool.
It was from Southampton.
Oh my God. Higher?
Correct. It was.
Grimmy. Go on, lad.
2 million more.
I was going to say, it had to be pretty close. So in my head, it was around that. So
it had to be higher or lower than a Danny Ings. Rebecca's favourite, Neil Mopai, when he signed for Brighton from Brentford.
I love it.
25 million. Surely it has to be lower. Surely. Do you think?
Going lower. Correct. £20 million for Neil Mopai.
How close are these transfer values, by the way?
This is it. And we're getting rumours. We're getting rumours in the chat. Palmer to PSG for £250 million.
Could you imagine?
Christ, we've gone football manager money. Higher or lower than a Neil Mopai, the man they called down Southampton last season, Big Paul Onuachu.
Higher?
Yeah, higher.
No, lower.
Lower.
Lower. £18 million.
I was waiting to go 19.8 million.
19.8 million, exactly. Higher or lower than a Big Paul Onuachu? Ben Brereton Diaz for Sheffield United.
Lower. What?
He's going for lower. Just he cost £0.0 million. It was a freebie.
Yeah, it was a free. Yeah, I didn't know if it was loan or free. Then I was thinking, which one was it?
It was a freebie, which should make this next one pretty easy. Higher or lower than the free Ben Brereton Diaz, Yves Bissouma of Tottenham.
I'm going to say higher, but you could have really been funny there and said Jadon Sancho going back to United from Chelsea when they paid us $5 million.
That's true. I should have stuck that one in there. Stuck that one in. Correct. £25 million. Now we have higher lower than Yves Bissouma. Nathan Collins signing for Brentford from Wolves in 2023. Don't worry, there's only 2 more after this.
These are tough. I wish you
They are hard. They are very hard.
They are tough. They are tough.
Oh.
Lower?
Lower. Correct, Grimmy. Lower.
Yes,
23 million pundas.
I'm doing better on this one than I did in the Man United one.
You are indeed. Higher or lower than a Nathan Collins at Brentford? A Dwight McNeil at Everton. He signed from Burnley.
How much was the previous one again?
23.
23 million punds.
He can't be higher than 23 million.
But then I'm thinking, will Everton have been stupid and gone higher?
I know, but it's not like he was scoring goals for fun before that. Like,
that's true.
It's got to be lower. Surely. If it's not, it explains a lot about Everton's financial situation, to be fair.
It's going lower. It is lower. £20 million.
God, you are making these tough, apart from like the
that
random
was really hard.
I just know how much of an expert you are, Grimmy, so I have to challenge you. I have to challenge your knowledge. This is how you learn, Grimmy, you see, if I challenge your mind.
That was very taxing, I have to say.
And the final one.
No, there's one more.
Grimmy's trying to finish early here. No, there is injury time. Higher or lower than a Dwight McNeil? For all the pudding, Rodrigo of Leeds United signed from Valencia in 2020.
Surely it's
higher. It's got to be
higher. Correct. £27 million.
Go on, Grimmy lad.
Well done.
You carried it for me.
Done.
God almighty. I know, I was supposed to be the assistant.
How's your back? How's your back? Because you carried me then.
Charles like putting up for press conferences. I'll send the assistant. I'm not doing that today.
That's send assistant. He can do the media. That's all right.
Yeah.
He can sort that out. Well, there we go. Thank you for that wonderful quiz. The wonderful answers from our super guests. And that's it. We've reached the end of the Premier League show. We've covered as many transfers as we could. We've done a Club World Cup. And we've had a bit of a giggle and fun while we're at it. But we couldn't have had fun without a collaboration of phenomenal podcasters. Of course, to my left, Shah, why? We know why, but where should everybody find you and more of you and what you're up to?
Everybody can find me. I'm Shah X REFC. That is on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. Please, if you're not already as well, follow my Rochdale Her Game 2 stuff on all of them socials. It is Rochdale HGT. We've kind of had a rebrand for this season. Some really, really cool things coming up as well. So please do that for me if you can. And yeah, the podcast is a bit here, there and everywhere at the minute with my lower league and non-league content, but hoping, fingers crossed, that we will be back on Monday with my non-league stuff, and hopefully we can get some guests on to do some recordings as well, because we have a lot lined up, but because the season and pre-season has started, it's just getting them back on and then finding the time. But yeah, keep up to date with it all.
This is it. There's a big list, isn't there? There's a big list, and it's just it's availability in time. And thank you, David. It's been fun and impressive once again. Next time, I'll sit quietly. No, we like people in the chat. Don't sit quietly. Come and it's part of the show, and we enjoy having everybody interacting with us. It's all good fun. And talking of good fun, the man himself, Mr. Grimmy, where can everybody find you? And you're a rebrander as well. It's all about the rebranding at the minute on your YouTube channel. Tell us all about it.
So I've started like a sports card collecting channel because I'm a nerd, and I have nothing better to do with my spare time apparently. Saint Grimmy is where that is. Twitter Grimmy16, and not that I should really tweet more, but I don't at the minute. I'm enjoying the peace and quiet without Twitter in my ear all the time. And the wrestling channel I have with Bragster probably should get a mention. Taking the Pin. That
I love
one
that
as well.
name.
Yeah.
So good.
That's the one thing I can probably take creative credit for on that one. He pretty much does everything else. So yeah, I'll take the credit on that one.
I love that.
Absolutely, but more taking the pin. We need some more taking the pin action. Thank you as well to Torsten. Keep up the good work, guys. We'll try our best, do what we can. Of course, we're very, very lucky today to have the brilliant Harry Scarfe with us. Very excited to have Harry back on the channel, talking to us all things. Of course, he's a busy man as well. He's got plenty of stuff sort of going on. Where should everybody be following you and the wonderful footballing content that you're up to?
Firstly, thank you very much for having me. Really did enjoy this, so thank you. It's a pleasure to be part of it. So thank you very much. Big up to all of you, and thank you to everyone who's listened. Make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. I've had the privilege of being on before, so it's great to be on again tonight. If you're interested in my own stuff, you can follow me at Harry Scarfe22 across all socials. I'm a football content creator and YouTuber. I also have my own YouTube channel, which is under my own name, Harry Scarfe, and has my own podcast within it. The Scarfe Spurs Talk podcast and the Scarfe Premier League podcast. So a lot going on because I'm also an advocate for autism and disabilities, football writer as well, and a couple of other things in the pipeline as well. So very exciting stuff. So thank you very much for having me. As I said, honestly, it's been great. So and thank you to everyone in the chat. They always make it amazing. Good questions, contributions. Love the game towards the end. That's great. Haven't had anything like that for a while. So I've missed it all with the exam. So it's great to be back. So cheers, Sam. You're a great host.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Harry. And I say always welcome on and brilliant. Do go and check Harry's stuff out on his YouTube channels. Go and do it after we're done now. You know, you can go and do it and then go and make yourself a drink and then enjoy Harry's content on his channel. You see, you can have an evening of fun. And Paul says you look like a young Scott Minto. A young Scott Minto. there's a throwback. And thank you to Stephen as well, saying class show. And you can catch me. I'm at Sam Absolute FBL, and also have an at Sam Absolute EFL channel where I'm hoping to have some videos ready before I go on holiday. Coming out, I've got a League One preview shaft. Some League One. How exciting! But I better say Stockport are doing well, or Claire is going to shoot me. So I need to make sure I've got to do my Stockport research.
Be controversial, Sam. Be controversial.
Yeah. I'll put them 23rd in my predictions and just see what happens. But yes, check me. But what you should be checking, if I can find the link, which is somewhere on my computer. Here we go. That's the one. It is the Absolute Football Podcast. It is us. Yes, please, as Harry said, please like and subscribe to the channel. That would be superb. Your notifications so you don't miss when we're on. But this is when we're usually on. I'll run through it because it is a bit different over the summer, and there are reasons why. We are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 8:30. On Mondays, usually our absolute non-league show, where Shah hosts the non-league guys in collaboration with NL Full Time and the team that we have there, talking National League North and South. By the way, if anybody sees any of the new logos for National League North or South, shout me out because I'm trying to sort the graphics out, and I haven't seen one yet. Still nothing. It's just absolutely selfish. Some of us are trying to prepare for the new season and they're making it difficult to work out the colour schemes to sort it out. Of course, we are the Absolutely Premier League show on a Tuesday, where we're going to be talking all about the Premier League when the season comes. I think we're not on next week, but we'll be on the week after with some more transfers. And then it's going to be our season preview and predictions before the big thing gets ready, where we'll hopefully have quite a few of the team on. It should be good fun, as our prediction showed last season. Probably don't go straight to the bookies after you watch that show.
Not talk about mine. I think I've probably got a big fat 0 this year. So
it was pretty horrific. And you do have usually on a Wednesday, Absolutely Women's Football show. However, at the minute, you will have noticed there's lots and lots and lots of Euro 2025 live watch-alongs. The troopers that are Freya and Paul have been live watch-alonging pretty much every day during the group stages. They have a well-earned 2-day break because the quarterfinals start tomorrow. So we have the quarterfinals, I believe it's Norway, Italy tomorrow, and they're going Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. England are on Thursday, I want to say. England versus Sweden on Thursday. But they will be doing the other two as well, which I think is France, Germany on the Saturday, and Spain and Switzerland on the Friday, if I'm correct. So do check them out. So that's kind of replacing their usual women's content at the moment. But they'll be back as well with Super League and Championship action soon. And then on Thursday, yes, it's Shah and the Rowdy Rabble talking absolutely lower league, EFL Championship, League One, and League Two, as you said at the minute. Hopefully an update next week on what's been going on, but we do have some interview episodes and whatnot. So do watch the Twitter Absolute Football Podcast account at Absolute Ball Pod, where we'll keep you mostly updated. But we're also on YouTube, Absolute Football Podcast, Twitch, Absolute Football Podcast, TikTok, Absolute Football Pod, Instagram, Absolute Football Podcast _ Blue Sky. Must remember to post on that now and again, but we are there, Absolute Football. And I think there's a Facebook channel somewhere, the Absolute Football Podcast. Why not? We're there. We were the best new content creator at the FCAs, which was extremely exciting, which was at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, of course, which Harry knows well, which was a very exciting evening. And there are nominations out for coming up for this year. So we'd absolutely love any support that you could give us in terms of any nominations. It'd be great to go again if we could and share the room and stage with some of these fantastic creators, including Harry as well. So do shout out Harry and give him a nudge in terms of the football content creator as well. And say, if we are there this year, Harry, we'll make sure we tried to find you, but we couldn't find you.
Yeah, I know, right?
We'll make sure we do. We'll make sure we do this time. And this is it. We make sure we do. So yes, do please support us in terms of what we're doing. But yeah, everybody have a fantastic week. Have a fantastic summer if you're doing it. We'll be back on your screen soon, and check out the Women's Euro stuff and everything that you're doing. Stay cool. And fingers crossed, Grimmy, that grass is going to look lovely at Manchester United next season.
It'll look pristine.
Wonderful stuff. Have a good week. Ciao for now.